Hola, Oscar.
Hi.
Hey, dude, how are you?
Fine.
You're
You?
beautiful here, I promise.
Sorry?
Did it go all the way around? Yeah, cool. Tell me your name. You're the one I don't know.
Oh, I'm Caitlin.
Yeah, okay,
I've only
Caitlin.
come here like probably 3 times so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I forgot immediately your name. Mason. Mason. I should be able to handle that. I really should. Yeah, cool. All right, good. Mhm. All right, let's see what things I forgot. Okay. Really need to sign you guys in. What I'll do, and we'll have a little break at some point, and I'll get you guys signed in so that if you want, I can send you readings. There are readings, quizzes, and homeworks, none of which you have to do. You should have to do them. So Oscar, I didn't know until the last minute that I was going to put this online, that I was going to let people Zoom. And so I apologize, maybe if you wave and kick and scream, then you can ask questions, especially since it's only you. And then maybe
Okay.
some in the future, if we get like more people, then I'll make like Jordan or someone like watch the chat or something, and then you'll be able to ask questions somehow. He'd probably do it. He's a nice guy. You don't know him yet, but I'm gonna check my sign-in list. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Yeah, look at that. That's
Yes.
amazing. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do a book, Oscar. They don't have one. If you have one, I'm gonna do one.
Cool. I have one, but I haven't done it in like maybe a year.
I won't tell. They won't know the difference. Okay. I've been, I'm nervous. I've been teaching for a bunch of years actually, and I've been teaching this material for a lot of years, but I haven't taught this material like in my little house before. And so I think probably like Oscar is the only one who knows, but there's like, it's fun because you feel like another person here. You're just one of the, but he, there's a course of study that I went through. And so I'm kind of starting from the top, and it doesn't matter. And you guys, I'm letting you come or not, and you can do homeworks and quizzes or not. Probably you should have to, but don't tell anyone that I'm not really making anyone do it. If you wanted to get some certification, I think that's available to you. I was a bad student in that way, but I enjoyed being with people and studying the material and arguing with my friends about the material. And then I found that like fulfilling enough that I feel like I was lucky enough to absorb a lot of material that way. So it's up to you, okay? I'm gonna scribble your names down or sign you into the website to MindBody or whatever, and I will offer you quizzes and homeworks and readings, and I think it's cool. And I'm not making stuff up. I'm going to use authentic sources. I'm going to use sources that I was given. It's like 8, so this is 10 classes. And if you come to all of them, it's awesome. And if you come to some of them, it's awesome. But they are cumulative, and I don't really care. And but if you want to come to all of them, it's great. And it is more effective to go to all of them. Maybe I'll be online. I'm even recording these. I could probably sneak you a recording if you wanted. And then there are 18 of these 10 class courses that I went through with my teacher. So theoretically, like, I think part of the reason I'm a little nervous about it is like, you know, I could, you know, you could let in this person here. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Oh, you have to unlock the thing first.
Hi.
My God, of all people.
Should we just
Hi.
walk in this way?
Yeah, you can. It's totally fine. Grab something to sit on.
Okay.
Cool. Where'd the stapler go? Oh, that's a really reasonable place for it. So up to you, right? There could be a lot of this ahead of you or less of this ahead of you. I'm gonna remind me, Christine, would you take this and take 2 pages and staple them together and give Dave 2 pages and staple them together and keep them or not keep them? Yeah, cool. So I studied for a bunch of years and I had a teacher who taught me for a lot of years, and I'm excited to get to sort of, I've been teaching yoga teacher trainings, and I've been teaching the Yoga Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita and the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and these books that are not really my books. Those are like Dave's books. But I teach them because people want to learn them to do yoga. But so I don't know, what can I say? Here we go. There's a prayer that you can say or not say. You see the first one says mandal, okay, which means mandala. And here's a very optional mudra, okay? I'll show you. It's good luck to do it. You don't got to do it, okay? It's good luck to say the prayer. You don't got to say the prayer, okay? So you take your, what is that, ring fingers to the back of each other, okay? And then cross your pinky fingers over each other, right? Grab them with your thumbs. Cool. You thread these 2 fingers past each other, and your index finger grabs your middle finger, and your other index finger grabs your other middle finger. And wow, look at that, beginner's luck. Yeah, hot shot. Cool. She can do any asana, even with her fingers. Cool. Yeah. And then we can practice some other time. This is also acceptable. This is also acceptable. And then you sort of imagine like what would be worth 18 of these courses, or what would be worth 10 of these classes. The tradition is that you make an offering of like a whole world that doesn't have tanks rolling through Europe right now, and where everyone kind of knew already everything they needed to know to be really happy all the time, and had bodies and minds and lives, and this is why, you know, made out of kindness and love and wisdom. And here is the great earth filled with the smell of incense, covered in a blanket of flowers, the great mountain, the 4 continents, wearing a jewel of the sun and moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of the Buddha, and I offer it all to you. And then for fun, okay, you can say, you can read along in the funny Tibetan words. You see mandala if you want to for fun, okay? Sashi, Puki, Jukshin, Me To Tram, Rirab, Lingshi, Nyende, Gyempadi, Sanye, Shingdu, Mikte, Uwargi, Jokun, Namda, Shingla, Drupar, Shok, Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kamya Yata Yami. Okay, and then the next one that says Kyapdro Semke. And then I'm gonna say it along, and you can say it along with me or not, okay? I have to say the prayers for my good luck. You don't gotta do nothing, okay? But you're welcome to, okay, say it along, and it's good luck if you want, okay? And now I'm just making a little prayer hand, and they say it's good luck, okay? They do this Anjali Mudra in yoga, but they say it's good luck to have something offered inside. Sangye Chodam Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Junso Ki Pe Sonam Ki Drola Penchir Sangye Drupar Shok Sangye Chodam Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Jinso Ki Pe Sonam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Drupar Shok. One last time. Sangye Chedang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsuchi Daki Jinso Ki Pe Sonam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Drupar Shok. Okay. All right. I'm going to shut this door, and we'll talk about the book we're studying. So every now and then I'm going to put squiggles up on the board. I don't think. Oh, look, you can even see. For now, I'm not going to use Tibetan characters, even if there's like one hotshot in the universe who wishes I was. Okay, so for now, I'm going to make it easy. Say Lam. So. Nam. Sum. Okay. Lam so nam sum. Cool. Lam means a path. Okay, so means the main, and nam, like these, it's a pluralizer. Nam sum means these three. Okay, so it's like the three principal paths, and that's the name of the book. The book was written by a guy named J. Tsongkhapa. Say J. Tsongkhapa. He lived from 1357 to 1419. He was the teacher of the first Dalai Lama. Okay. He wrote this book down. It's a summary of all the teachings in Buddhism in 3 steps. Okay, so you could say like path. Okay, main. Okay, this is a pluralizer, whatever. 3. Okay, Tsongkhapa. J means the Lord from Tsongkha. Tsongkha is like a place in Tibet where I think Tsongkha means like the onion place. Doesn't matter. It's not important. Okay. He's the guy from Tsongkha. They just call him Tsongkhapa. Not a big deal. All right. He was probably the most prolific writer, maybe in the history of Buddhism. It's possible. He wrote thousands and thousands of pages of commentary, and he's a big deal in Tibet, and because mostly people don't know about Tibetan culture or historical Buddhism, mostly no one ever heard of his name. But I think he's like a, like a philosophical Shakespeare, like an Aquinas or an Augustine, or like a big heavy that people just don't know about. He wrote, I don't know, how many different commentaries, but most of them are not yet translated into English. Maybe you'll all learn Tibetan, maybe just by the good luck, the good seeds of saying that out loud, you'll be helplessly drawn to learn to translate all of those books yourself, and that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, the language is kind of, it's a dying language for the most part, and there are a handful of scholars that are studying it. But it's not spoken very purely in the world, really much at all. Even in Tibet, mostly they speak Mandarin now. And then in the monasteries that fled China, what's now China, in the monasteries that fled Chinese occupation in Tibet to reestablish themselves in India, that's probably the closest. I studied there a little bit. My teacher studied there, okay, in the lineage of Tsongkhapa, which is the lineage of the Dalai Lamas. So there's a genre of literature, okay, called Lam Rim, okay? Lam Rim, okay, say Lam Rim.
Lam Rim.
Okay, Lam Rim is short for, well, we'll get there, okay? Yeah, we'll do it, okay, we'll say, Zhang Chu. Okay. Lam Ki Rimba. Okay. Say Jiangchu, Lam, Ki, Rimba. Okay. This means the steps of the path to enlightenment. Okay. He wrote a lot of versions of this type of literature. Okay. And it's kind of a special system whereby if you could go start to finish, all right, there are a lot of different commentaries in the Buddhist lineage about a lot of different topics, okay, from wisdom to love, compassion. You can study one of those books, but they say that it is not a complete path to enlightenment. And theoretically, the Lam Rim is. Theoretically, the Lam Rim is a way of going from nothing whatsoever in a progression, step by step, from being a real jerk like myself, and just, you know, spitting and cursing and cutting everybody off in traffic, to total enlightenment. What that means, you know, I think we can talk about over time, okay? And I'm gonna give you authentic sources, and I'm gonna try not to be like apologetic for it, but at the same time, like, I'm like you, I don't know, I studied a lot, and I've tried in my life to put things into practice. And my teachers kind of taught me to, like, maybe not reject things out of hand, but like put things, they say, like, put it on a shelf. Okay. My teacher always said, like, put it on the shelf if you're not sure about something. Like, you know, a good example, honestly, is like past and future lives. I don't know. And I don't think, although it's a central teaching in Buddhism, I don't know that like an educated Buddhist even can say, if they haven't seen it themselves, that they know that that's true. Like I don't remember before I was born, I never met anyone who came back and told me personally that I knew for sure that I could trust. And so I would encourage you to take everything with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I'm going to teach things the way that they were taught and the way that I was taught them by my teacher. Okay. So, he wrote a version called the Lamrim Chemo, okay, which is like 1,000 pages in Tibetan. Okay, he wrote a medium size, okay, a dring, okay, is a medium, a chung, okay, like a 500-page version, a 300-page version. What we're studying together is 14 verses. All right, that in theory you wouldn't need anything else but those 14 verses to reach all the goals of Buddhism. And that's divided into 3 principal paths, okay? 3 principal paths, and we're going to talk about it tonight, and then it'll unfold over whatever time we spend together, okay? Jetson Kappa's monk's name, okay, whatever, so you know. And I can't not do it. There's a tradition in my lineage, you should know what you're studying, whoops, and how to misspell it. Say Lobsang Drakpa. Yeah, Lobsang Drakpa. That's his monk's name. Okay, so he's known as Jetson Kappa, but his monk's name is Lobsang Drakpa. He was born in, did you scribble it down? No, 1357. 1357 to 1419. It's like, I have a lot of friends, like, you could break into their, probably some of my stuff, you could really break into their Wi-Fi pretty easily if you know Jetson Kappa's dates. Because he's kind of like the main guy in the lineage. You could come up with some formulation of 1357 and 1419 will probably get you into most of their computers, or in some case, maybe bank accounts. Probably shouldn't tell you that, but you'd figure it out pretty quick. It's okay. I don't know who exactly. So let's talk about Lam, okay? What's a Lam? Okay. Lam is a path. Yeah, right. And so what's a path? Lam can mean literally like a road, okay, like a path. Lamka can mean like the road, okay. This is like, you could have Lamka Sumba would be like Third Avenue or something, okay. But in the sense of the three principal paths, a lam is okay, lam equals tokpa, okay, say tokpa, okay. I don't know if Marga necessarily has this sense or not, Dave. But it's a state of mind, okay? So like traditionally Buddhism divides everything up. If you were gonna divide everything into the universe into categories, what do you think? Guesses, categories, everything in the universe. I don't know, I don't know that I would have guessed, but my teacher did this when he taught it. So what do you think?
States of existence from unmanifest to manifest being the broadest.
Unmanifest to manifest. Okay, cool. What would be an example of a thing that's not manifest?
Our emotions, there's no way to tangibly hand them to you, but we know they exist within our consciousness.
Oh, I like that. I think that's cool. Yeah. Any other possibilities? I don't know. I kind of like that. They traditionally split things up into like changing and unchanging.
Okay.
And there's a big debate about whether or not unmanifest things might count as unchanging things. So I think that's interesting and not crazy. Nitya and anitya, and maybe concepts, ideas might be considered unchanging things because they're not real, right? Because I can't hand you my conception of democracy or something, right? But I could hand you a peanut butter sandwich. So one is conceptual and one is changing or active or caused. Then they divide changing things up into basically mental, physical, and things which are changing, but neither mental nor physical. Okay, so right, this soda can, physical. The idea, forgot your name already.
Me and Caitlin.
The idea, Caitlin, okay.
Okay.
Mental and physical, okay. So then they wouldn't strictly consider you either, right? They'd say changing, but neither mental nor physical. And then emotions and realizations, states of mind, understandings, okay, are changing, but mental. So Buddhism is really into, and a lot of like ancient Indian systems are really into the division of mental and physical things. And I struggle with this honestly more and more. I don't know, I don't know. Is there a non-physical thing called mind? You're a doctor. I don't know if you discovered it yet. In anybody, that a piece fell out that was non-physical, that was mind, that was somehow not the body. Like it's problematic. I find it a little problematic because it's hard to point to. So is mind, what do you think? Is mind something different than body? Is mind just brain? How do you guys feel about it? I'm not going to prove
based off what your like personal conception of the soul is, and if you don't, how you view soul would also mean like how you view potential mind.
I like that. I don't know, and I don't know the answer. Okay.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be, I'm in no place to tell you yes or no to that.
No, I think, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Different for everyone too.
I feel like that. I feel like, and we're going to talk about what makes a thing be or not be, and how that deals with, sort of what is reality and how we decide what reality is or isn't, and what are the concepts that help us define our reality. And at any rate, over the history of Indian philosophical thought, and certainly Buddhism in particular, though not everywhere, right? Charvakas, there are groups that said there's no such thing as mind, as a different thing than physical reality. But certainly Buddhism does categorize it as a totally separate thing than physical reality. And I wonder if it's two ways of talking about the same thing or not, okay? But anyway, for our purposes here, okay, Tokpa, Okay, say topa.
Topa.
Topa means a realization, a state of mind, a realization, an understanding that one would come to. That like, it's like a hallmark or a change in someone's life, okay?
Epiphany.
Epiphany is great. Yeah, like an understanding that changes someone. In this case, it's a big deal. To reach a lam in Buddhism is considered a big deal. They would say probably you could go many lifetimes and have gone many lifetimes. And again, I don't claim to know if that's true or not, right? Without having a lam like this, without having a realization. How many realizations are we mainly going to be discussing over the course of this evening and this 10 class series? Hey, all right, good. Yeah, 3. The 3 principal paths. Okay, the 3 principal topa. Okay, lam realizations.
Does the word revelation also?
I like revelation, realization, epiphany. I mean, it's I'm a translator, right? So I study Buddhism from the perspective of a translator, and these words have different flavors, and they can all apply in different contexts. And so yeah, I think it's cool, and you'll decide as we flesh it out. All right. Oh, hi guys. Cool.
Are there direct Sanskrit corollaries here? Like Marga, as you said, doesn't really seem to have quite the same.
No, I don't know. Oscar, do you have a Sanskrit equivalent off the top of your head for Dokpa?
Not really.
Okay, you got to learn to use Lokesh Chandra for me. You've been watching us do it online.
Yeah.
That'll be your job. If you keep coming to this, we're going to make you learn to look things up for me in Lokesh Chandra.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. And Oscar, who totally should know how to use Lokesh Chandra by now, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I have a gopher.
Gopher. It's a start. Okay, good. That's okay. All right, we'll get you there.
Okay.
I don't know.
Can I ask another annoying
I hope you
question?
do, yeah.
Jetson Kappa wrote in Tibetan.
Yeah.
Would he have known Sanskrit? Does he know Sanskrit?
Yeah, he was a great Sanskrit scholar. And most Tibetans did not know Sanskrit. And but around maybe 1,000, right? Between 700 and 1,000 or so, 1,100 maybe, right? When the last Buddhist monastery is burned in India. There was this massive push to translate, and he's not that far after that. So one of his kind of lineage fathers, this guy Bhutan Rinpoche, who he didn't meet in person, finalized the Sanskrit canon that was translated into Tibetan over that 300-400 year period. Those guys knew Sanskrit very well. Jetson Kappa still knew Sanskrit very well. When you look in the books now, a lot of the Sanskrit's a terrible, terrible mess, but fixable. And there are scholars, there are living scholars like Lokesh Chandra, right? Who, if Oscar sticks it out in this course, he'll build a relationship with, so that I can be like, Oscar, hey, look that up for us. But we can look it up, we can look it up.
Yeah, and then did he do translating and did he write in Sanskrit?
He did not translate.
Uh-huh.
He didn't translate, he didn't write in Sanskrit. Okay, the translations were sort of done by then.
Oh, right, okay.
So he's 1357, right? And it had kind of been settled by then, and the form the canon had taken had been settled by then, right? Cool, good question. Yeah, yeah, cool. Now I'll have to look it up. All right, so let's start paths, okay? Okay,
Sorry, can I just clarify something? really quick?
please do.
Okay, so the book we're gonna be studying.
Yeah.
is By J. Tsongkhapa.
Yeah.
And then what is that John Shublam Ki Rinpa?
Lam Rim, okay, Steps of the Path to Enlightenment. John Chub Lam Ki Rinpa is the genre of literature that we're learning, okay, from. And this is sort of the shortest, easiest version, okay? And I'm going to go to some of the meat, and then we're going to circle back a little bit and talk more about the background, because I want you guys to get content before I I brutalize you more with knowing the names of the teachers in the lineage and the names of the books. And so we're going to circle back to it. Okay. But I want you guys to feel like you got content and not just, yeah, lists of names. There's this like famous, my teacher, when he studied in India, he got cornered in a train station. He met a tutor of the Dalai Lama and didn't know what book he was studying and embarrassed his teacher terribly. And seems to have sworn he would never let that happen to him. And now I guess I'm sworn to try to not let that happen to me, but I'm going to put that off for just a little bit longer. Okay, say Ngengjung. Ngengjung. Okay. Ngengjung roughly means, okay, renunciation. What are we renouncing? Okay. And this is hard. And this is like the fundamental baby step in Buddhist philosophy. Okay. Is they describe it as giving up on this life. Okay. And that's hard for us to talk about. All right. And if you read the reading, it's heavy. All right. And it's written a while ago. I mean, in the case of Jetsunkalpa, it's written in 1357, but even the commentary that you can read in the reading is more than 100 years old. And these guys are gnarly. And so, and I'm not so gnarly. Like, have I given up on this life? No, I haven't. And I couldn't claim this state. Okay. It's an epiphany. It's a high state of realization. Okay. Now, what would that look like? Like, what is it okay to be a Buddhist and like stuff, right? Or is it important that I stop liking stuff?
As long as you're making a conscious choice, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is, does it hurt you or does it help you, right? And as we talk about, and you know what, I'll put all three up here, okay, and we'll elaborate about them. Okay, so let's talk more about it, okay? Say Semkye. Semkye, okay? The wish, okay, and we'll elaborate on each of these, okay? And then Yang, okay, Yang Dakbe Dawa. Yeah, good, sorry, I was slow. Say Yang Dakbe Dawa. Okay. Okay, correct view. All right, so when these combine, so the question is like, what does it matter, okay, if I make a conscious decision for what I want to want stuff, right? It has a lot to do with understanding, okay? Understanding whether or not the things that we want are bringing us pleasure. If I want a donut and there's one donut, I'm going to bust out the cookies in a little bit, okay? And there's plenty of cookies, but if I set out one at a time, okay, just as a social experiment to see how you guys handled it, which is not really my style, all right? But what's going to make you happy? They're good cookies. I don't know if you've had, they're like, someone pointed out they're basically organic Nutter Butters, you know, but like, what's that, like Nature's something or other cookie that, you know, anyway, they're like peanut butter sandwich cookies. They're good. I haven't had them in years. And I just realized in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, like some part of me longs for that kind of cookie. So that was the cookie I went with tonight. I don't know that that has to be the official cookie of our time together, but
is it gonna F us up if I'm severely allergic to peanuts?
yes.
Is that like mess up the cookie?
Completely, no, not at all. It's not going to be the official. Please don't eat them. Yeah, totally. Yeah, good. Yeah, please don't eat them. Yeah, totally. It's really important.
Open it though? if
Oh.
I'm airborne.
Can I put them outside and people can go?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, totally. Great. And then I won't bring peanuts again.
Thanks.
Totally. Yeah. Good. It's not going to mess us up. It's so
Okay.
not important. The cookies.
I'm sorry.
It's one of the great unimportant things of our time, these cookies. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. You can see everyone's like, oh, like it just came for the
I
cookies. They
know.
didn't know there were going to be peanut butter cookies. You know, they didn't come here for that. So do peanut butter cookies make you happy?
Me,
Yeah.
I mean, neutral-ish.
Yeah, right. Does anyone really like peanut butter sandwich cookies? Great. Oh, brutal. Yeah, it's the forbidden fruit. That's the problem.
Is it
Yeah.
about the cookie though, or is it about having it in the first place? Just the fact that you can have it, so.
Well, if the cookie was the thing, okay, if the cookie was good, then we'd all probably have a really good experience with the cookie. If the cookie was bad, we'd all hate the cookie. If the cookie was definitely neutral, we would all feel neutral towards the cookie. All right. So there's something that each of us have brought to bear here. There's something different in each of our hearts in relation to these cookies. It's not the cookie, man. You know, it's not the cookie, right? There's something about you. I don't have an allergy to cookies. Okay. I could eat too many of them and, you know, and I may later when you all leave. It's not the cookie, you know, and it won't kill me quickly at all. Yeah, very slowly over time, the cookies will build up in my blood. Let's say there's one cookie left, okay, and Sam's the one who wants it. In fact, okay, would she eat the cookie right next to Jordan, whom I happen to know she loves very much? Would she do it? Like, what's going to make you happy? Yeah, right. Yeah, unlikely. Okay, unlikely, right? She wouldn't do that to him. If there's one cookie left and I want to take the cookie, will that make me happy? You know, if there's happiness in the cookie, then sure. If there's happy in the cookie, then I get the cookie, I get out of the room, whatever I have to do to get out of the room, I win because I have the cookie and happy is in the cookie. Okay, so that's it. If on the other hand, your happiness is in any way connected to your connections with other people, right? Then hurting other people to get cookies is probably not going to make you happy. All right. It's an easy example. Okay. It's an easy example. And it's kind of a throwaway example. Okay. Of where we might have a tendency to think that we can be happy by hurting people. Looks like there are circumstances where we can hurt someone and be happy, where we can create pain and be happy. And we kind of believe it. There are certain circumstances where we believe that maybe we could, right? So is wanting stuff okay? Yeah, but what do you want? Like, is wanting to be happy okay? Yeah, wanting to be happy is great. Do Buddhists want to be happy? Yeah, do Buddhists want me to be happy? They say that, okay? I'll sneak whatever, spoiler alerts, okay? In the history of Buddhist literature, it seems that Buddhas would like people to be happy and that Buddhas would like to be happy. But what works? What makes you happy, okay? So knowing what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy, right? Which frankly deserves to go down here, okay, in Yang Dakbe Tao. Okay, deserves to go down here in correct view. Okay. Tatparam Purushakhyater Gunavaitirshnyam. The Yoga Sutra says, yeah, right. The highest form of renunciation, vairagya, basically is what? You know.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Ah, come on. Otherwise, it has to be poor Hillary. You would do it to save her from it. Dia could do it.
Oh,
No.
I don't know my phone. Highest form of renunciation.
Oscar? Nah.
No.
It's basically from having a what?
Not thirsting for the gunas.
Because what?
Say it again.
Tat param purusha kyater.
Oh, from discernment of the self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like seeing the real you. Kyater probably implies in a deep state of meditation. Like having an epiphany, a topa, a lam about yourself. You see that would be the thing, that wisdom ends up being renunciation. Okay, not that you shouldn't want cookies, whatever, run around, have fun, have cookies, if they make you happy, right? So, and am I gonna have cookies tonight? You know, yeah, probably, like, I'll have a cookie, I usually have a little bit of chocolate before bed with the missus, no matter what happens, there's gonna be, doesn't make me happy. I don't know, I don't know, or am I just hooked on the junk? I don't know, right? And these are questions for us to have, right? And challenge yourselves and challenge ourselves about, okay? There are, but the main thing, okay, and we'll come back to these others, okay? The main thing that they say that you are giving up. Okay, we'll say the three sufferings, okay, and we'll talk about them more later. And but the main things, okay, okay, ga, na, okay, and she. Say ke, ga, na, she, okay, birth, aging, sickness, and death. Can we give these things up? Yeah, I mean, that seems like the obvious answer, seems like no. But that's what renunciation is mostly geared towards, okay? Story is, the Buddha's a prince in India. He's sheltered by his family. They don't want him to see bad stuff. They've worked hard to keep him safe in the palace so he doesn't have to see anything ooky or uncomfortable. Maybe it's his 16th birthday, maybe it's his 15th, like a good New Mexican. He's toured around the city, all right, and they say that that demons sneak into the city, okay, or they say that angels sneak into the city, depending on who you ask, all right. So he's moving along in his procession, and one of these demons, or maybe one of these angels, okay, is there old. Okay, now mom and dad did their best to get all old people out of the path of the parade grounds, okay, so that the prince didn't have to see old people, but there's one, okay, there's one right in front of him, and he's just stunned, okay, like my son the other day, who asked me why my hair is black and white now, well, son, and he says to his, to whatever his chariot driver, basically, what's with dude, right? What the hell am I looking at? Master, he's old. We all get old, right? So he keeps going, he's traveling a little bit more, and then they pass a guy who's sick, right? He's coughing, shaking, he's in a heap on the side of the road. What's with this guy, right? He's sick, Master, he's sick. We all get sick. And they keep going, and he comes upon a corpse, right? Which was not supposed to be there, right? Just like on American television, we do our best to protect you from corpses at all costs. But one has snuck in, and he says, what's this, right? And his friend, right, his chariot driver says, sir, he's dead. We all die. And the prince says, No. No, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I am your prince. And I will stop this. And I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know. They didn't tell me. You know? And so what the fuck is that supposed to mean? You know, like and so is you know, like how many punches can I pull and say that Buddhism doesn't teach this thing that Buddhism does teach, right? Is that the goal is to step beyond those things, okay, that seem inevitable, okay, to reject those things. Am I there? You know, no, man, I don't know. I don't know that I accept that. How would that work? We'll talk about it, you know, we'll talk about it. We'll debate it. Is such a state possible? Boy, you should not believe anyone who runs around telling you something like that lightly. And why would someone think that, right? We'll talk about it. Okay. Okay. Anyone remember what Semke means? Yeah, oh, nice, cool, good. Semke is short for John Chub. Sem. Okay. Sem is like a wish, okay, for enlightenment.
The yearning.
Well, in this case, remember, it's a tokpa, right? It's a lam. So it is a yearning, but it's also like, you said an epiphany, right? Or what else? You said epiphany, you said revelation. I thought that was cool. We'll talk about it, all right? This is also, who knows the Sanskrit? You probably know the Sanskrit. Sankalpa, no, that's cool. That's cool that you don't know.
For Semke?
Yeah. Oh, well, for the wish to achieve enlightenment. Yeah. Oscar, you yell it out loud if you can.
Bodhicitta.
Yeah,
Oh.
bodhicitta. Yeah, cool. Bodhicitta. What's the word for someone who possesses bodhicitta? Yeah, say again. It was you. Good. Right, you threw your voice this way. It went around and great. Yeah, a bodhisattva. Okay, so yeah, the definition of a bodhisattva is one who has bodhicitta. Okay, what is this wish? Okay, they say that it's kind of like an all-pervading state of mind. Okay, that you run around, and even when they talk about renunciation, you'll see in the book. Okay, when you have not even a moment's thought for the good things of cyclic life, and you think both night and day of achieving freedom, then you've found renunciation. Okay, it's kind of renunciation turned towards other people's ke ga na chi, right? It's kind of rejecting. It's one thing to reject my pain, and it's another thing to reject my mom's pain or everyone's pain. Okay, so it's this idea of a state of mind which says, like, I can hand on what I was taught. I can hand on what my teacher taught me, and that's cool. And I think my teacher wants me to do that, but like, you shouldn't trust me. I still have Kiega Nachi, right? Like, the only way to really help people would be to get out of the mess, would be to stop having negative emotions, would be to stop having pain. If you were somehow to give people advice on how to get out of pain, you should be very weary of my advice if I still have pain. You should be very suspicious of my advice if I still have pain. So if I really wanted to get people out of pain, what would be the best way to do it?
Get yourself out of pain.
You'd have to get yourself out of pain. And there's a tradition about a bodhisattva, and it's not, people talk about Dharma rumors. My teacher likes to talk about Dharma rumors. Like there's this tradition that a bodhisattva sort of means someone who decides that they promise not to get enlightened, until everyone else gets enlightened, that they will stay here in pain until everyone else gets out of pain. And there's a scriptural basis for it, okay? It's not crazy, it's not made up. There's a thing about it in the Lotus Sutra, but it's not the point, okay? No one would do that. It won't help, okay? If you can get yourself out of pain, please do it. That's what I would like you to do for me, right? The best way to help people, please fix the problem, and then you're qualified, right? Then you're qualified to do something for people. And if you're not, then you probably can't do much for people, right? We'll talk about it, okay? We'll talk about how to develop this. There's a whole genre of literature, okay, called Lojong, about developing this state of mind. And it's very beautiful to have a life dedicated to that. You know, am I there? No, again, I'm not there. Like, which of these tokpas do I have? None of them. I'm just, I'm a guy who had very good teachers who condescended to spend a lot of time with me. And I'll do my best to share it. I think we should have tea and cookies, and the cookies should live outside, but the tea I think is okay. There's a door right here, and they can, if you want to have a cookie, it's okay to have a cookie outside, or is that, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
No, of course, yeah, but I want to make sure that's also, no one gives a damn if we don't eat the cookies at all, is it? Really, I know pretty much everyone here pretty well. If eating the cookie and coming in like with cookie crumbs on your thing, like, are you going to notice that people did?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's like such
let's not have cookies tonight. I have a nice chai. I'm not going to do it. There's no, it's just not worth it. It's so silly.
I'm sorry.
How on a scale of 1 to a zillion, how furious is everybody about the Oscar, you know, Ariel, Ricky, have as many peanut butter cookies as you want. Let's just
I'm
not
also
open
allergic to
stupid
peanut
cookies.
butter.
Say again?
I'm also allergic to peanut butter.
Oh, well, shit.
But we'll have some tea on our end.
Okay, let's just, there are cups, and if anyone wants to help me get some cups, help me get some cups, and there's chai over in the other room, and then we're gonna take 5-10 minutes or so, okay? Cool. All right, great. And if anyone wants to help me grab cups or go to the bathroom or whatever. Nah, this way. Yeah. Did you get a cup? Did you end up with a cup? Yeah, now if you go all the way to the top, there won't be enough. Don't do it. Don't do it here. Good. Good. Yeah, great. Temporarily open this door. It's not like gonna be something. It's not bad, right? It's not terrible.
Is it dairy?
No,
No dairy?
no, it's oat milk. It's oated. Yeah.
I went to Little Bear and I got a chai latte with oat milk.
Good.
Because add the Little Bear.
A Little Bear latte.
Yes. Yeah.
Were you totally zooted from Little Bear Latte? No. Oh, just high, buzzed. You don't drink coffee, but now,
No,
right.
I just had like 6 says I drove my 30 minutes home and then didn't drink the whole thing right away, you know. Usually don't, 'cause I feel like my heart races and I feel like I'm gonna puke, so I usually don't drink a lot of coffee at once.
Yeah, okay. I drink a lot of coffee at once. Yeah, I think I only had 2.5 cups today, which is good for me. Quad latte, where?
Little bear.
Little Bear? Good. Do you have this illness of needing caffeine? Yeah. What's that?
I live in Seattle. So
Oh, in the city proper? Yeah. Where do you get coffee?
wherever.
Okay.
There's the chemist, if you will, who sort of pioneered real scientific espresso making. Has a spot called Vivace.
I know Vivace.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Yeah.
Casually just.
I don't live near there.
Ingesting Benadryl.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Vivace is awesome. Yeah. Cool. I think I was just trying to think of that. There's another place on Capitol Hill where it's not espresso. I can't think of what it is. What's the other famous? There's another other than the big fat Starbucks. But no, it's not town. No. I think it's near the big super Starbucks. Victrola. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I really like Olympia coffee roasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they now have locations in Seattle proper.
Okay. I've seen that in the grocery store, I think.
Really? Oh my God, I can't even imagine what I would do with myself if I had Olympia in the grocery store.
The problem, you gotta be careful, the coffee in grocery stores, often the roast date is like, so.
You gotta check. Yeah,
it's
totally.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
same price.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit overly precious about it. Yeah, totally.
Nothing wrong with that.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate the validation.
Protect your ritual.
It's Caitlin? No,
Yeah.
it is Caitlin. Okay, good. I was sure I forgot again.
And your name is Ben?
It's true.
Okay,
Yeah, totally.
it's short and snappy, I think.
And you came to a couple classes at the studio.
Yeah, and then I followed y'all on Instagram and I was like, cool.
Cool. Whose classes did you take? You don't
I
have to know.
really don't know,
You don't
but.
have to know. Okay, good.
I was hit up
Great.
to the woman up in the front
Perfect.
and Kendra. was-
Great. Yeah, great. Okay,
So
great.
that's it so far.
Good. Okay, nice. Good. Cool.
So,
All right.
yeah, I was
Great.
just trying around like different yoga places around here and then
Cool.
I like, yeah, I like that y'all did like the 26 and 2 up and other things. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Good.
and it's seemed
Cool.
like what I was looking for.
Good. Did you do a 30 for 30?
Yeah, I still
Good.
have like
Good.
probably another couple.
Good. You should go live it up. You should go like 4 times a day or something.
I know, but I like have to work and all of that
Um,
stuff.
yeah. That's the problem usually. All right. Okay, I guess so. All right.
I was gonna close out saying you yelled at me, you said Caleb.
I hope to say that.
4 times a day, you yelled.
You were.
You said nobody's going to possibly handle it.
You are allowed, you're allowed, but the problem is that the people who go that often tend to stop coming. It's too much, it's too much. You'll burst apart at the seams. I've seen it happen 4 or 5 times.
It's the renunciation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Dave was just saying.
Renunciation by Ragni here, or sannyasa, or Tbog, something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. You know what?
I also have a question.
Before we're officially back from break,
Are these supposed to be more fleshed out concepts of the initial, I don't know, conception of them in Sanskrit? Because there was more time to practice them and more time to come to further recognition.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll tell you what, I want to come back to that question because it's a really good question. And I'm gonna look up these 2 words.
Also, apparently somebody wants to say Tokpa is Vitarka.
What do you mean somebody wants to? It's not crazy. Oh, the internet just said that? Okay. No, it could be okay. I mean, let's see. Yeah, Nepa Chungwa. Yeah. Yeah. Nirjana. I don't even know that word. You see, it's not Niryati. Niryasyati. I don't really know these words, Dave. Like these are not words I come into a lot. Naryanika. Not great. Naishkramya. I don't know those words. Yeah. Let's say Vairagya. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. And then let's look up RTOGS. No for Dokpa. I think you're probably right, by the way. But oh, I see. I think you're not. Yeah. Avi, no, it's not great. I still don't know, Dave. Sorry, I'm all up in your face. I was using Lokesh Chandra. It wouldn't have helped. It requires further research. The thing about Vikalpa, okay, which can mean to like, Vitarka. Vitarka, which can mean like to note something. Tokpa is spelled two different ways, and there's a homonym, okay? Tokpa, which has a silent S at the end of it or doesn't. And one means a conception or an idea, and usually a wrong idea. And the other means a realization, a path that changes a person. So I think that that's without the sa. I suspect that Vitarka is without the sa, means an idea, a concept.
It's funny how close they are and how similar they are, the same thing.
There's a thing even on the debate ground, you say like you without the sa, with the sa or without the sa, right? And there's sometimes the like sign on their hand, you know, like the sa, you know, topa.
Because if
right?
this is all BS, then it would be with an S.
Right. Well, my friend, who's a much better Tibetan scholar than me, told me a bunch of years ago, you get more from the realization, so it's the one with the S at the end, but you guys aren't studying Tibetan yet, so you don't have to know that. But anyway, that's how I remember.
It can be a realization too, right? Like as a stage of meditation.
Really?
Right? I mean, it's like, it's one of the.
Well, the
components of
Vichara
it. Yeah,
Nandas.
right.
Yeah, right. But it seems like the lowest of them.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
So I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah.
And I guess I asked the question about renunciation in the sense of like, vairagya means dispassion, whereas like, like if it was with tya or it was with sannyasa or something, it means more of giving something up.
I think it means more of giving something up, and it's also related to like Ngeng Jung means to like very much. Nge means certain, and Jung means to like emerge from or to come out of something. Okay, so like Rab Jung. Do you know Rab Jung, Oscar? Rab Jung, Rab tu Jungwa. That's
No.
okay. It means giving up the home life, and it means taking ordination. So yeah, like very much giving up on the home life would be Rab Chung, right? Nin Chung means stepping out of obsession with just stuff that doesn't make you happy anyway. If it makes you happy, do it. That's great. But investigate whether or not it makes you happy. Are these things making you happy, right? Is that chocolate that I have to have at night because I think it makes me happy? Or maybe it keeps me up at night. I don't give a damn that I didn't have a peanut butter cookie right now, you know, like would the peanut butter cookie have made me happier? You know, like almost certainly not. And then you asked, like, did these ideas get fleshed out more over time, right? When we talk about Ngengjung renunciation from the from the Sanskrit, you know, the Buddha was maybe 500 BC. Okay, and then there's and then maybe the teachings of the Buddha are written down 200-300 years later. And then there's a commentarial tradition that evolves for 1,000, you know, 1,000, 1,500 years after that, before things are being transmitted into Tibet. And there is a rich commentarial tradition there. They would say that they're doing their best to understand what was taught originally, right? To me, it looks a lot more sophisticated, okay? And maybe that's because I'm less sophisticated, that as the commentarial tradition gets closer and closer to us in history, it's easier to understand. So I started studying Buddhism, I think it was like listening to Alan Watts recordings on like, you know, like public radio, like college radio stations or something. Yeah, right. And that generation, like the Kerouac generation of, you know, transmission of Buddhism, that was really exciting to me. And now I look back and I'm like, I'm not sure what I got out of that. Now I read that and I find it really hard to engage with. I find it hard to understand. There was a lot of sutras, okay, meaning like core texts or root texts that came out of especially Japan, China, Japan, right? Those guys were educated, especially there. There wasn't a lot of the commentarial tradition didn't come, okay? So this commentarial traditions are like skins of an onion, right? Where there's like a core text and then someone comments on that and someone comments on that and someone comments on that, right? And the original one is like, it's like gobbledygook. It's not clear what the hell it's talking about a lot of the time, right? You read the Heart Sutra and it's like, you have no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to taste, nothing to touch, nothing to think of. No, there's no part of you that sees, there's no part of you that's aware of what you're seeing. And the same is true up to the part of you that thinks and the part of you that's aware of what you're thinking.
But neuroscience confirmed that in the last 20 years.
Well, how can it confirm it if you don't have a mind? Maybe, right? But at the same time, it's like that, it's attractive, right? But it's a little almost too mysterious, okay? Like, I do have eyes, don't I? Did neuroscience confirm that I don't have eyes? You know, I have a nose, right? I think I do. I'm pretty sure I have a nose, right?
What it did confirm is that the process by which those objects take in that data is not real. It's intangible. We cannot have or see, or we can only experience, we cannot have the process by which that data goes from whatever it is to our understanding of this.
Well, I'm open to that, okay? I'm open to that and I want to debate it, okay? And we'll talk about, you know, correct view and we'll let that develop, okay? Generally speaking, all right, I think that if you tell someone they have no eyes, they should be, you know, they should be dubious, right? If you tell someone that they have no ears and they heard you, there's a conundrum, right? There's a problem develops, okay?
In the communication, not in the truth.
Well, but this is again, we'll let it unfold, okay? But there's an obvious, okay, seeming contradiction, okay? Whether it's a seeming contradiction or a real contradiction, we can flesh out, okay? But to say that there's no seeming contradiction between I hear that I have no ears, right? And accepting that, right? There's a commentarial tradition, all right, around that, okay? Where the Buddha says elsewhere, meaning these things have no nature of their own as you might have thought of them, okay? Meaning they don't exist in the way that you thought they did, okay? And then he goes through this systematic presentation of all the teachings he ever gave. And it sounds like it's random, okay? Why eyes, ears, nose, why the part of you that sees, the part of you thinking, right? Why there's no misunderstanding your world, there's no stopping this misunderstanding, and the same is true up to your aging and death and the stopping of aging and death. Do you know what that's a reference to, Oscar? That part, there's no misunderstanding, there's no stopping this misunderstanding, and the same is true all the way up to your aging and death and stopping the aging and death.
You mean what
What
mental
teaching
state
is the Buddha referencing in that?
to emptiness.
Yeah, it's the 12 links of dependent origination,
Mm.
right? Which is hanging in the hallway over there, you
Okay.
see? But nobody knew that. Kerouac didn't know that, okay? Kerouac didn't know that the Buddha's making a direct reference to a 12-step painting in the hallway of Nirguna Yoga. He didn't know about that, okay? So he didn't, and it was beautiful and it was exciting, but the commentarial tradition is important and profound. And there's a lineage of teachers, okay? And, you know, my teacher's on the wall out there, his teacher's on the wall out there, his teacher's teacher's on the wall out there, okay? And his teacher's teacher's teacher, who's also on the wall out there, wrote the commentary that we're using for this course, okay? But that student then wrote that down and taught it to my teacher's teacher, who taught it to me. And I'm doing my best to review it with you here, okay? So we'll talk about it, okay? And we'll talk about Yang Dakpe Tawa, okay? Which means what again? Yeah, correct view, okay? There are classical examples, okay? And I always think of when my teacher taught it, you know, originally, he was like in the diamond business, and he would sell a diamond. He would say, like, you know, my boss gave me this diamond. I got to get 500 for it, but I'm supposed to tell the guy that I can only take 1,000 for it. And if the guy's convinced, then I made $500. Okay, I could have taken less, you know, so I lied. So it looks like I lied and I got what I wanted, right? Can that be true? Okay, looks like, okay. So like correct view, Yang Dakpe Tawa is like the question of, can I get a cookie by jumping in front of someone else who's trying to get the cookie, okay? I know Kendra always likes to talk about the yeah, the 6 o'clock donut at the co-op on Rio Grande. At 6 o'clock, at the Rio Grande co-op, the donuts suddenly become $1 each. And so, you know, she'll cruise around the co-op for a minute because she knows it's not time yet. She likes the one with the cacao nibs. Right, for my teacher, it would have been maple covered donuts, but Kendra's all about the cacao nibs. So then, right, 6 o'clock rolls around and you know, she hears the little old lady saying, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I hope they have the one with the cacao nibs. And there's one, right? There's never going to be a lot of them because the whole point of the 6 o'clock thing is they're trying to get rid of the last ones that are there, right? Can she get in front of the little old lady and grab the last chocolate donut with the cacao nibs? Sure, you know, sure. And then what will she get for it? Seems like she's gonna get the chocolate donut with the cacao nibs, right? It seems like a good proposition, right? Is that what we're denying? Honestly, kind of, okay? Kind of. Yeah, Yang Dakpe Tawa is kind of saying it might work in the moment, okay? It might work in the moment. Now, does it mean literally you're going to have less donuts later? This is hard for me. They sometimes say that, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, okay? I struggle with this.
No, because you get more of something later.
You get more of what later?
The suffering, the consequence of the donut.
Well, that's the issue, right? Is it the consequence of the donut? It could be, right? And there's a, you know, the famous scriptural question is, if the donut is good, then I should feel better the more of them I eat. Which only seems to bear up to a certain point. And I can eat a surprising number of donuts, okay? But even for me, there comes a time when I can see that good must not be in the donut, okay? Or I should really, really, really feel good after the 37th donut, which has not generally been my experience, though I'm only ready to admit that after about 34. But yeah, the consequence is not just of the donut, right? But of,
The impact on the human that you.
I think so, Caleb. I think so. And but this is for us to explore together, okay? So I'm gonna report what an ancient lineage says on the thing, okay? And then we're gonna explore it together, and we don't gotta, no one's gotta buy it or not buy it, okay? I'm not interested. Don't buy anything that I'm selling, okay? Or that I'm representing to you that someone else is selling, okay? We'll talk about it. But yeah, the idea is that you cannot make pain and get happiness from that in the long. Seems like, okay? Seems like you made pain and in the next moment there was happiness, okay? Please.
Yeah, we're talking about happiness.
How many times am I gonna forget your name over the course of tonight?
Not sure.
It's better if I get out in front of it and just, I'm sitting here guessing. Tell me again.
It's Mason.
Mason. I can do it.
It is happiness like an intermediary end in Buddhism, or you mentioned nirvana, I think earlier. Like that's like the scarcely achieved.
I believe I personally did not mention that word once yet tonight,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm tickled that you did.
Did you say
I like that you
something?
did. No, I mean it's in bounds.
Okay.
You said the
You
word
know.
nirvana, which sounds like nirvana.
Oh, that's
Sounds
cool.
like-
No, it was a different.
It was a different Buddhist class you were at tonight.
No.
No, it's good.
It's a
It's
different-
great. Yeah, right. So nirvana, and we'll talk about it.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm more interested in happiness because that's where we seem to
Yeah.
be talking about. Like,
Well, and what's the difference between happiness and nirvana? And does happiness suffice? Are we trying to be happy? Are we trying to get to nirvana? What is that? Right? And what is it to get past Kye Ga Na Chi, right? To get past sickness, birth, aging, sickness, and death, right? Nirvana is classically defined as the complete removal of negative emotions due to basically the realization of Yang Dakbe Tawa, okay, the epiphany of Yang Dakbe Tawa, okay, a revelation of understanding how the world works in a way that damages forever your capacity to be pissed off about stuff. And on the day that you are rendered forever incapable of getting pissed off about stuff, boy, I'll let you know when that happens. That's nirvana, okay? Nirvan, okay? To Vahan, we get the word fan, basically. It means to blow out, to blow it away, to blow away all of your...
To dispel.
Yeah, to dispel Sanskrit word for whatever negative emotions I'm probably trying to get away with. You come on, related to the word holly. You know about the relation to the word holly? I think the K turns into an H.
I didn't know that, but yeah, I'm assuming you're saying glaciers.
Yeah, right. I knew that you knew that part, but I thought you probably didn't know holly.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I think the Indo-European root relates to the word holly. Klishta, klesha, okay, a negative emotion. Does they say mental affliction, right, is like the popular Eastern Western way of putting it, but that we don't say that in English. No one says I'm having a negative emotion or I'm having a mental affliction. What's that? If I had said mental affliction, yeah, probably. That's my fault.
It's a deviance.
A deviance. Well,
Did you say,
a
yeah,
negative
impurity?
emotion, okay, or say again.
They say things like impurity and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, separation from that perfect state.
Maybe that should
Sometimes
just be
there's
like
a really medical term.
mullah though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mullah is related, yeah.
Right.
So is what that is detachment?
No, correct view is not that necessarily, okay? But because of correct view, if you use an epiphany or a correct view, okay, to remove your negative emotions, meaning what? Basically, a thought that disturbs the mind, okay? The definition of a klesha is basically any thought that disturbs the mind, right? So the removal, okay, of all thoughts that disturb the mind, okay, is called nirvana. All right. Now, is being happy for a sec the same thing as that? No, of course not. Right. Yeah, of course not. Right. So what are we talking about when we talk about being happy? Long run, short run. And the definition of like virtue or goodness in Buddhism is like that which leads to happiness and eventually nirvana. Which I don't know how much of our happiness, right? We can get short-term happiness, all right? And we'll talk about it, okay? When we talk more about Ngenjung,
Is it a mind, is it an emotional state, a mind state, or is it a way of being
which?
happiness?
Oh, yeah. I think that we could describe different types of happiness in that way, right? Like, who am I to decide what you're allowed to call happiness or not, right? But if we're talking about different Tibetan words or Sanskrit words, you know, we can talk about their definitions, you know. What is happiness? You kind of get to decide to some extent, okay? But in terms of short-term or
But
long-term,
the text doesn't lay out a specific definition.
well, the text is gonna say, and we're gonna get to basically 3 types of suffering, okay? Which we talked about Kyegan Nachi. These are like all pervasive suffering. We talked about, and we will talk about what they call suffering of suffering, okay, which is like you stub your toe and it sucks, okay? And then the suffering of change, which is all the good stuff in your life, okay? They describe as a type of suffering, okay? Is that a type of suffering? We have to talk about it. The fact that all the good stuff has to run out, all right? The fact that if you view the cookie over the course of, you know, eating the cookie to, you know, the first taste, that first moment of the cookie, is that the end of the experience of the cookie? If that's the end of the experience of the cookie, maybe it's happy, you know, then maybe that's a happy experience. If that's not the end of the experience of the cookie, right? Then is it happiness? Can we count it as happiness, right? This is the question that's going to come up, okay, in and around what they call the suffering of change, which is also like, it's hot in here, so I take off layers, so I'm cold in here, right? I'm hungry, so I eat too much, and now I don't feel so good, you know? I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm gonna sleep till noon today, and now I feel like I wake up like I've got a head wound.
And so
Right.
graduating and going to college and won't be home anymore.
I know, and now finally I can live it up, but I miss my kid, you know? Yeah, totally, right? Yeah, right. Like I, you know, I have to take care of my kid. Oh my God, it's such a burden. But like, oh my God, when my kid leaves, that'll be so hard. All of these things, the things that the fact, it does apply to each other, right? The fact that we're losing each other. Also suffering of change, right? So what is lasting happiness, right? And that's something you don't have to have Ngenjung for, I don't think. That's something I don't think you have to renounce. And that's something I don't think personally that Buddhism is renouncing lasting happiness. I think that Buddhism is renouncing happiness that we partake of now that interferes with our capacity to have some lasting happiness. And that's something we have to investigate, okay? Okay, now I have to do my my due diligence a little bit. Here. So I'm gonna send you a reading. You can do it or not. Look, we're at this part, all right? But for those of you who want to scribble it down and be good, okay? My teacher, okay? Lobsang. Chunzen. Okay. He was the first guy to go and get a geisha degree, okay, which is like a degree that you get in the monastery, usually after 20 years of study. He was the first American to do it, okay? Anyway, that's my teacher, okay? His teacher, geisha, Losong. Here, say geisha. Losang, Chunzen. Okay, Geshe Losang. Okay, Tarchin. Okay, say Geshe. Losang. Tarchin. Okay, that's his teacher. Okay, also sometimes they call him Ken Rinpoche. Okay, Rinpoche means like it's like an all-purpose title usually. It just means like for a high teacher in Tibetan. Ken means like he was the Kempo, the abbot of a great monastery, of one of the great monasteries. Okay, so that was his teacher. Now his teacher, okay, say Kyabje, okay, Kyabje, okay, Trijang, okay, say Trijang, okay, Rinpoche, okay, was his teacher. Now Kyabje Trijang Rinpoche, okay, wrote down the reading, okay? He wrote down the reading that his teacher spoke, okay? His teacher, all right, was Pabonka Rinpoche.
And until that time, it was all oral tradition.
Nah, not at all. No, no. Pabonka Rinpoche is he was born in 1878. So no, he spoke a lot, but this guy sat at the teachings and wrote those down. Okay. Now he had a teacher and he had a teacher and he had a teacher. Okay. But the 14 verses, okay, which were by yeah. Yeah. I'll take it. Jetson something. Yeah, Jetson Kappa. I'm into it. Yeah, totally perfect. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, by Jason Kappa. Yeah, the guy from the Onion Place. Yeah, totally. Those 14 verses, okay. He wrote a commentary, but he didn't really write anything. He taught a commentary. Okay. He was a very famous teacher. He was probably a reincarnate lama of someone else, but they called him Pabonka Rinpoche because they were kind of actually already, even at that time, there was tension between Tibet and China. And so they kind of hid who he was and said he was the reincarnation of this abbot of a monastery called Pabong, because there was a big rock there, a big boulder, which is Pabong in Tibetan. He was very famous because he taught not just monks, but lay people who were not ordained. And his student was there and wrote down this commentary on the 14 verses. Okay. He has a tantric name. Okay. Sedechen Ningbo. Uh-huh. Means like essence of great bliss. A monk, if they go, traditionally it would be if they got the highest, if they were like one of the highest in their class after 20, 25 years, they could go to the tantric college and get a secret name and whatever other secret stuff you get. I don't know, it's a secret. But he got a name. And anyway, that was his secret name. So you should know, okay, if you are going to do the homeworks, okay, which is your problem, I'll send you a thing and you can do it or not. And you can tell me you want it or not. I'll write down who was here. Okay. And if you didn't get the thing and you wanted the thing, just tell me, write to me, and I'll make sure you get the thing. And that's it. You can take out your little prayer sheet. Okay. And then first one we do is this one again. Okay, so here we can try it again. Okay, and then eventually, you know, you can bug me if you want to know next time before class, and we can try practicing. Okay, I like ring fingers next to each other, ring fingers touching, back of the ring fingers touching, and then the pinky fingers crossed back here. Yeah, and then the middle finger, right? Sorry, the pointer finger grabs this middle finger, and this pointer finger grabs the other middle finger, and then my thumbs grab my pinkies. Okay, and then I don't know if you have your little prayer there. So this is still the mandala. Okay, so you can say along with me the Tibetan if you want. Okay. Sashi Puki Chukshin Metok Dram Rirab Lingshin Yende Gempadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Yokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Idam Guru Rana Mandala Niryatayami. And then the one, if it's Moa, okay, or Moa, right? The dedication prayer. Mhm. Gewadi Kewo Kun Sunam Yeshe Tsotok Shing Sunam Yeshe Lechung Wei Dampar Kunyi Topar Sho. Cool. Okay, thanks guys. And then I will be here next Monday. The Monday after that, I'm taking a week off. And I'm gonna go hang out at the beach with California, with my wife in California, with California. I am gonna be with California. So, but then I'll be back again after the other one. And I'm sorry, and I felt bad this early on for taking a week off, but Kendra made me do it. And I'm really gonna enjoy it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Cool. Thanks, guys. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see
Thank
you.
you. That was lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
man.
lovely. Thank you.
Well,
I'll see you soon.
we knew it was Kalaisha. We were celebrating over here.
You
We
knew
were
it was
on top of
Glacier.
it. I think
Yeah,
you did.
you could
a
have
good
your
job.
own little whiteboard and you could be like, yeah, totally.
It's super fun. We're doing the homework this time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, put the cups on that table over there.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want
cool.
like help bringing them?
Nah, don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it. Maybe some other time. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna stop this thing. It's nice to
Thanks,
see you.
Glenn.
Oscar, thanks for coming. See you soon. Okay. All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Good night. Good night, Ariel. Good night, Ricky. All right, cool.